It is very early in the morning here at Birmingham Airport, and today I'm going to try a new airline for me and for this channel. Now, this airline flies from 9 UK airports to over 50 European destinations, and they've been awarded Best UK Airline and Best Low Cost Airline in Europe in the 2018 TripAdvisor Awards. Of course, today I'm flying with Jet2 on a flight from Birmingham here in the UK to Malaga in Spain. Now, if you're new to this channel, don't forget, if you enjoy the video, to hit that subscribe button below. Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne. Let's get going. Jet2 check-in is located right in the middle of the terminal building near door B. You certainly can't miss the desks in the bright red Jet2 colour scheme. Today's flight took place on Halloween, and Jet2 dressed their check-in for the occasion. Once checked in, you'll find the departure floor located one level up from the check-in area, and there are a couple of restaurants that you can choose before heading through security. The Birmingham Airport Departure Lounge, in my opinion, isn't the most welcoming of spaces. It's pretty dark with quite low ceilings. That being said, there's quite a good selection of shops and restaurants. Let's have a look at a few of them now. One of the more popular spaces in the Departure Lounge is the Factory. This bar and restaurant has a large selection of food and drink as you'd expect, and also a smoking area, which is pretty rare for a UK airport. But don't forget, smoking's just bad for you. Now, I'm really excited for this flight today. It's my first time, as I said earlier on, with Jet2, and I'd like to see how they differ from the competition and why they win so many awards. So let's get to the aircraft and have a look. As we leave Birmingham on a beautiful morning for flying, let's learn a little more about Jet2 and what you can expect on board. Jet2 operate a fleet of Boeing 757 and the 737 aircraft which I'm flying on today. This 737 is only a few months old and has the Boeing Sky Interior with mood lighting. I personally like it, but what about you? Let me know in the comments. As part of the cabin design, Jet2 also lists their destinations on the overhead lockers, just in case you forget where you're flying to. The cabin on the Boeing 737 is laid out in a 6 abreast configuration with 3 seats on either side of the aisle and has seating for 189 passengers in an all-economy layout. Now before we look a little more at the Jet2 experience, let's hear from the flight deck with an update on today's journey.
It's pretty much a straight line today, so all the way south over into northern Spain. We're going to pass Santander, where the bank comes from, then down past Madrid, all the way down to the south coast and Malaga.
If you didn't bring your own refreshments on board with you, Jet2 of course offer a selection of food and drink to buy. Now it wasn't the largest selection I've ever seen, but it wasn't bad either. I didn't buy any food on board because I ate in the terminal before the flight, but I did enjoy a very nice drink from Tennessee whilst admiring the view. So, I hope you're enjoying the flight so far. I know I certainly am. Let's take a look at the most important part of any experience, and that of course is the seat area on board this Jet2 737. The Jet2 seat is finished in the red and grey which runs throughout the cabin. Near the top of the seat you'll find your literature pocket which contains a safety card, in-flight menu for drinks and snacks, shopping guide and the Jet2 magazine. You also have a small cup holder near the top of the seat which I quite liked as it gave you additional space on the tray table. This was needed as you'll see shortly. Here you can see the restraint for the in-flight magazines. Sadly, there's no space here for any personal items. A moment ago I mentioned tray table space, and you can see that the table on Jet2 is not very large at all. It's also fixed in place, meaning you can't bring it closer to you. There is a small cup holder, but I use the fold-out option instead. Storage is certainly an issue with this seat. There is nothing towards the bottom of the seat, so any valuables will need to be kept under the seat in front in a bag. One big positive though is the legroom. I'm around 6 feet tall and I had no trouble with space. It was very impressive. And here's a better look at the seat on Jet2. I found it very comfortable and personally I quite like the colours too. The Jet2 shopping guide offers a range of gifts and fragrances to purchase. For an aviation enthusiast like me though, it's got to be the model aircraft. Here's a look at the Jet2 route network. They fly to a number of holiday destinations in Europe. Where would you like to go? As we approach Malaga, don't forget that as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel for future reviews, you can also keep up to date with my latest flights via Instagram and Twitter. As we commence our approach into Malaga, it'd be a good time to let you know to stick around till the end of the video for my final thoughts on today's trip. For now, enjoy the landing.
Thank you very much for flying with Jet2.com and Jet2 Holidays. Hope you have a very lovely stay out here, and hopefully fly with you again soon. Until then, please take care.
So, welcome to Spain after that flight with Jet2 from Birmingham. Hope you've enjoyed the video so far. I enjoyed the flight, but now I'd like to go into some of the details and let you know my final thoughts on today's experience, starting in Birmingham. Now, if you're familiar with this channel, you'll know I do travel through Birmingham quite frequently. Not a lot has changed recently, but it is a decent place to spend a couple of hours before your flight. It's quite a good selection of shops and restaurants for you. On board the aircraft, the first thing I noticed was the LED lighting, the red Jet2 branded lighting inside the aircraft. I actually found to be quite nice. Now that coupled with the Boeing Sky interior and some of the Jet2 branding on the bulkheads and the seats, it did work for me. I was quite impressed with that. Speaking of the seats during the flight, I did find them very comfortable and the legroom was quite generous in my opinion, certainly for a low fares carrier. There were a couple of little issues with the seat for me, number one being the lack of storage around the seat, and also the tray table was pretty small. Now during the flight, of course, I interacted with the cabin crew and they were very friendly and professional when you did see them. And I say that because they went through the cabin with the drink and snack service and then they disappeared for quite a long period of time, almost an hour in total. Now that meant that passengers, including myself, had their rubbish just left on the tray tables for that whole time. Not really the best impression. And speaking of bad impressions as well, during the safety demonstration, the member of cabin crew in my particular section was chewing gum the whole time. Not a great first look at Jet2 in my opinion. Overall then, are Jet2, as I said at the start of this video, the best UK airline and the best low-cost airline in Europe according to TripAdvisor? No. There's nothing wrong with them particularly, but there's also nothing for me that makes them stand out above the crowd. They don't offer the lowest fares I've ever seen compared to the likes of EasyJet and Ryanair, and there's nothing that makes them particularly better or particularly worse. So they're not a bad carrier. I certainly would choose them again, but I wouldn't say that they're the best, and certainly not the 7th best airline in the world as TripAdvisor also awarded them. Let me know what you think in the comments though. If you've had a different experience on Jet2, do let me know. Also, please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Only with your support can the channel continue to grow. As always, most of all, take care.